The mortising jig, which is placed on the drill press and drills the mortise at right angles. The mortise is made by drilling a number of holes and connecting them together. The jig features a lever that uses the principle of leverage, which allows the workpiece to be instantly locked in place or released and held down with little force. When leveling the walls of the mortise in the finishing process, the workpiece is slid from side to side while pressing down firmly with the fingers. The process is divided into drilling holes and flattening the walls, with the drilling process using the principle of leverage and the flattening of the walls being done by applying pressure to the workpiece with the fingers. In other words, the majority of the entire process uses the principle of leverage and does not require a great deal of force. To make a stool with spread legs with this jig using a mortise and tenon joint, the mortise has to be drilled at an angle. So I thought of using the mortise jig on a tilting table. First, let me explain how I used to do it. I set the tilt angle to 10 degrees. Traditionally, holes were drilled by temporarily clamping an aluminum angle to the drill press and applying a 10 degrees angle plate. This is a good and simple method, but the principle of leverage cannot be used and the entire process requires a firm finger press. Generally, when working a mortise and tenon joint, at least 4 holes are drilled, and often many times more. In the case of this stool, for example, there are 8 mortise and tenon joints. In such a case, the completion of 8 total joints would cause the fingers to become very fatigued. It then follows that it is better to incline the mortise jig at an angle and use the principle of leverage. So I decided to build a tilting table and place the jig on it. The remainder of the process consists of determining the angle and height of the triangle. I found on a website that there is software that allows you to input the base and tilt angle of a triangle to derive its height. Under Input Specification, set base and angle. Then set the base to 300. Set the angle to 10 degrees. Then click on Calculate to find the height h. In this instance, it is approximately 53. This is how I made this mortising jig tilting table. It is 300 mm from the left fence to the right board. The boards are 53 mm high and are attached with double-sided tape. Place the mortising jig as shown and the tilt will be 10 degrees. Clamps were fitted to hold both the mortising jig tilting table and the mortising jig firmly in place from the front and rear. This is how it is secured to the drill press. Actual use. It is still easy to fix the workpiece with a lever. The only time you have to press down with your fingers is when flattening the mortise wall, so you can do a lot of mortise work without getting tired. After making the table, I realized that it was convenient to use the base length of 300 and the height of 53 from the website's triangle calculator software directly as the dimensions of the table.